So why don't you tell us what's happened, or what is happening federally and provincially, I guess, to the programs that have been very well established at Vancouver Community College?
I'd love to. The program that is under attack right now is English language training, ESL. And Vancouver Community College has been teaching ESL for 45 years. We are the largest provider of ESL training in the province, if not in Western Canada. Previously, we had been funded by the federal government through the Ministry of Advanced Education. The money passed through the Ministry of Advanced Education, came out to the colleges. Vancouver Community College got a very large portion of that because we are the largest trainer, and we were able to serve the community with all the levels of English language training needed by new Canadians, by first-generation Canadians, immigrants. We were there for everyone that needed the language training, and it led to careers for people. It led to jobs being filled. So Vancouver Community College has been providing English language training for about 45 years, and in I believe it was December, Mr. Verk, the Minister of Advanced Education, announced that he didn't see post-secondary offering this training. He thought it would be well served somewhere else. We don't believe that's true. We have been offering this for a long time. We're established, we're professionals, and we meet the needs of the community. So our funding has now been cut down to 44% of what we had last year. Now that means we aren't able to offer classes, and classes will be canceled as of April 1st at Vancouver Community College, and we don't know where it will land. We have some funding. The government did come forward with some funding that will get us through to the end of June, and after that we don't know. So layoffs will begin, and the good work that our instructors have been doing in the community for a long time will go away.
What about the economy, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about this, of all those immigrant Canadians who rely on advanced English language acquisition to participate in the economy of Canada for them and their families, for their families' economy?
Well, it is short-sighted on the part of this government to not fund a very basic, fundamental need. And it's actually the provincial government's mandate. It's their responsibility to educate adults. And that's what needs to be addressed here. The federal government may have cut the funding, but the provincial government needs to step up and fund this program. If people come to this country with degrees and training and experience, but they can't speak English well enough to be an accountant, to be a doctor, to be a nurse, they need to be supported in that area so they can become taxpayers, become part of this society. Everything they came to this country for is stalled if they can't speak English. So it's short-sighted on the part of the government to not fund this fundamental basic issue. People need funding for English language, and I don't see where the province can shirk this responsibility. This is really all about the economy. If the Premier can talk about the jobs plan but not appreciate that people need to speak English in order to work, I don't understand that. Skilled immigrants can fill the gap that we have, but without English language training, I don't know what they're going to do. They will be stalled.
So talk to us a little bit, if you will, about some of the record, some of the accomplishments of the program in the city.
Well, the accomplishments go far back to probably the first people when people come here into the city. The first place that they go for training is the Vancouver Community College. And we're known in the immigrant community as the place to go. We have a good reputation, and we've been building on this reputation for, as I say, about 45 years that we've been offering this program. So when the students go through the levels of English language training that they need, they can start at the very basic conversational, but we also have listening, reading, speaking, everything that makes a fully understandable, a person fully understandable in the English language. So to take the person from the very basics right up to the highest level of the Canadian language benchmarks, which is what someone would need perhaps to be a doctor or a nurse, we've been doing that for so long that we've developed a curriculum. In fact, the provincial government funded Vancouver Community College to about $3 million this year to write curriculum. It's a project called Pathways, which will lay out the actual benchmarks for each step through levels through 5 to 9. I know I'm getting a bit technical into the levels, but as an ESL instructor, you would understand, Charles, I'm sure. But most of my point is that we would be able to help people to the highest level of English language that they need, right from the very basic. And we write the curriculum, we tested it, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, we know about the continuity. And the other thing that is great about students coming through Vancouver Community College is that we have so many career programs that once the student has finished English language training, they will often go into automotive trades, chef, hospitality and business, nursing, any of the healthcare programs that we have, which there is a big need for in the workforce. So the people coming to the college for the English language training often stay and train in other things if they need that, or they go out immediately to the workforce and come back as taxpayers. So our program is comprehensive. It's taught by people who have experience teaching English language to students for a long time, and we have the history to do it, and we are well respected across Canada.
Well, I have to make another confession. I ate a dinner at Vancouver Community College cafeteria tonight downtown.
Oh, at the cafeteria. Okay.
Yes, at the cafeteria, because they're teaching cooks, you see. So they practice their cooking, and then they'll serve you a very good dinner for $7.70. So
very reasonable. And if you want to go upscale a bit more, you can go into our white tablecloth restaurant, JJ's, or into Four Corners. So we have 2 restaurants in the college, and the restaurants are all run by students, and I'm sure many of them are ESL students. In fact, we have documented cases of people you come back to us and say, look, I did my chef training here, I did my nurse training here, I did this here, and it's very rewarding for the instructors who have been with the college for 10, 20, 30 years to see their students come back as professionals, and very happy in their profession, very happy as Canadians because they did have that basic training that they needed.
Right, and I always take my Canadian study students through the downtown colleges. You just down the street from us. So I say, come on, go meet some Canadian students now and learn about Canadian public education. Well, it's quite interesting because one of the places we stop in all the time, aside from buying them cookies at the bakery there, we stop at the hairdressing. Yes,
we have a combined skills program for the students will come in and do half of the day in English language training, and the other half of the day will be in a skill such as hairdressing or in culinary arts or baking and pastry arts. So the combined skills program is another offshoot of our ESL training that's been very, very successful.
And very practical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's a word that would describe what we do, is we're practical. We help people get started in their life, and then we help them along if they need it. And I think in a lot of ways Vancouver Community College is one of the best kept secrets in the city, and yet everyone that's come there has come through there is very proud of the fact that they have. And, our students refer. I think our referral rate is very, very high. Why people come to the colleges, because someone else said, you should go there. This is where you need to be to learn. And just the caring attitude and the small classes that we have in all of our programs is what makes us special.
Yeah, and I just learned that your hairdressing program is 10 months, and it's a 4-day-a-week program, and it costs about, I think, $7,000. Now, education is not cheap. It's not as cheap as it used to be when we went to school and university, I'm afraid. But you know what? It's at least half the price of the private schools.
Right, and some of the programs are costed differently. The hairstyling is costed differently. It's a bit higher. Some of the other programs are less, so it depends on whether they're base funded or not. But ESL is free. And we also have an ELSA program, which is English Language Services for Adults, and that program is totally federally funded. But what the problem that we're facing right now is the funding for English as a second language that's not federally funded, and that we're really struggling because we have about 3,000 students per term in English language training, so 3,000 students, and our funding is cut to 44%. That's a big chunk of students who won't know where to go, won't have a place to go. I don't know if there's enough capacity in the system throughout the province to even begin to absorb the loss of these classes to the immigrant community. So registration is happening this week, and there aren't the class offerings that people are expecting to come back to or to enroll in. And it's going to be tomorrow is going to be a particularly difficult day at the college because people are going to show up early, expecting to register for classes, and we don't know if they're going to be able to get into the very limited offerings that the college is able to do. Our issue here is absolutely with the provincial government in not funding this. The college has done pretty much everything I think they can to try and advocate for the funding. We have we launched an ESL Matters campaign last Tuesday at the college. We had a huge rally. About 500 people showed up. We had television cameras. We had radio, lots of publicity. We're trying to get a message to the provincial government how important this is to immigrants and to the jobs plan. And that's where I come back to how short-sighted this is on the part of the provincial government in that they're not funding this. It's just you have to look to the future and say help people now when they need it, and it's not very much cost. Help them now. They'll come back as taxpayers. They will give back in professions that we desperately need. You think of the shortage of healthcare workers, and so many people come to this country. We had a doctor speaking last week at the rally, and she has a PhD in medicine. She's ready to practice medicine, but she is now just at one of the highest levels of English language training because, as she points out, you want me to be very precise with your health, and I need really strong, solid English language skills to be that way. So I just want to encourage the government to please listen to us. We did meet with Mr. Verk 2 or 3 weeks ago in Victoria. He didn't seem to really be aware of how short our funding was. We are still pressing him on this. We're pressing Minister Bond so that she'll understand that the point here is not just about English language training. It's about jobs as well. It's about looking to the future and helping people now when they need it.
You know, Karen, it's very interesting because I can assure you that the Surrey MLAs, including Emmerich Verk, who is a new MLA, former RCMP, I guess he's still in the RCMP, but on leave, Minister of Post-Secondary Education, or Higher Education as they call it, were very involved in making sure these drivers get back to work so that port goes on. But they don't have that same keenness of edge to take up what is clearly a vital public service. I mean, government is responsible to the society, especially when your society is so dependent upon immigrants coming in. Canada's demography is in negative, where birth rate is negative, and we do take in immigrants to, overcome that deficit, and they need to be trained in the language, as you said so eloquently, to participate fully in the economy. So I'd like you to keep me abreast of this. And another point, we're going to talk about the whole issue of private ESL, because I think this is part of the pressure to go to privatization too, Karen. But we'll have that conversation on another day, and we'll bring in some of the your private colleagues in the ETEA, and we'll have a good discussion about that whole English industry.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you very much, Charles. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Okay.
Bye now. All right, talking to Karen Shortt, who is the president of the Vancouver Community College Faculty Association, about the cuts to a very critical program, a very critical service to upgrade English for immigrants.